The guys are going to start with a modified vertical crush. This is going to give us that purchase point that we're looking for on that front door. The Model X doors in the front are similar to what we're used to seeing with our conventional vehicles. The difference is that the exterior door handle is electrically operated. That means if 12-volt power isn't present in the vehicle, that exterior door handle is going to be ineffective. What we need to know as rescuers is that by reaching inside and utilizing the inner door handle, that's your mechanical linkage, and we can get the door open that way. So if we've lost 12-volt power, that's going to be our first step for gaining access to the vehicle. The hinges and latch on the front doors of the Model X are our traditional cast hinges and a traditional latch. We're cutting the front hinges in order to maintain structural integrity of that lower A-pillar. If we were to use the spreader in that area to remove the door, we might find that we damage that lower A-pillar, compromising the structural integrity for when we go to do our dash displacement evolution. Almost the entire structure of Model X is made of high-strength aluminum, with the exception of the B-pillar that we talked about, and the A-pillar is also dual-phase 980 steel. Aluminum behaves differently than our traditional steel construction. Instead of bending and flexing, aluminum likes to tear quickly and also break. And that's what Tim is doing right now. What we're doing here is we're separating the Falcon Wing door into two pieces. We have the upper section of the door that's hinged to the lower section of the door. And you can see there that he's effectively broke the door sill, separating one side of that door from the lower section from the upper section. He's going to go to the other side and break it free. And you can see that the spring in the Falcon Wing door then brings the door up and out of the way for the rescuers and the occupants of the vehicle. Now the bottom section of door is only latched in one location, in the very center bottom. Often it can be pulled out of place, or occasionally we'll need to use a spreader and work our way down to that latch to remove the door completely. The guys are going to set up now for our dash displacement. What they're going to do is they're going to use a ramp to move the dash. But because we're dealing with a different type of body structure, this aluminum body structure, our upper rail and strut tower assembly are different than what we're used to seeing in conventional vehicle construction. We have several support members in the front end of the Tesla Model X that's different than what we're used to seeing. We've got a connection between the firewall and the strut tower in the top area of that upper rail. And then we've got a second connection from the upper rail near the headlight of the vehicle to the strut tower. All of this will need to be separated before we're able to move the dash on the vehicle. And if you can see, take a look at the way that aluminum behaves differently on that fender than what we're typically used to seeing with our steel construction. Revealing all of that structural area there to be able to make effective, complete relief cuts. So I mentioned a minute ago how the aluminum likes to break. Oftentimes with our aluminum construction, we can actually use a spreader or ramp to break components rather than utilizing the cutter. So that's an option for you when you're dealing with this strong but brittle aluminum. Right now the guys are making space in order to access those components that can be cut. The sound is different, isn't it? It's different than you see with our steel construction. It's that brittle, strong aluminum cracking underneath the force of the tools. The first relief cut, upper rail strut tower near the firewall, or bulkhead as Tesla calls it. Larry's moving on to our second relief cut in the upper rail strut tower assembly of the Tesla Model X. The inflation cylinder for the curtain airbag for the front seats of Model X is located in the A-pillar, near the dash area. We've moved up that A-pillar to avoid that inflation cylinder. I should mention that in the Falcon Wing doors, the inflation cylinder for the curtain airbags is actually located in the lower area of the door, underneath the window. That's because Model X doesn't possess that upper rail to hold that inflation cylinder and that airbag. So rather than deploying down from the roof rail, the airbag deploys up from the door and covers the window area. And we're double cutting this A-pillar so that we won't bind as we move the dashboard forward. We have nothing to bind on, creating as much free space as we can find. At this point, the guys are setting the ram in place, but they're getting the cutter ready to open up some space on the lower A-pillar. So what Tim's going to do here is he's going to open up this hole in the lower A-pillar, and he's going to create a good purchase point for the cutter. At this point, a perpendicular cut is made in the lower A-pillar. One of the benefits to making this perpendicular cut first is that when we go to do our inline or parallel cut on the lower A-pillar, our tool tends to run out away from the vehicle rather than driving into the occupant of the vehicle. And listen to that aluminum crack and break. Once our dash displacement is accomplished, we're going to move on to our ultra high strength steel boron and dual phase B-pillar. Our first cut is complete in the lower A-pillar. This is our final cut before we're able to push the dashboard of Model X. Our second cut is complete. We've got a good complete relief cut through the lower A-pillar. What you're going to see now is the dash being moved with the ram, and then the spreader being brought in to hold that dash in place, or even take it a little bit further. And this is a great technique at any extrication assignment where dash displacement is required. At this point, Larry's going to bring in the spreader, take it the rest of the way, and Tim can take the ram, move it out of the area where we need to move in and access our occupants for our crash. The next step in our rescue specialist assignment is going to be to complete our total sidewall removal. That's going to begin with the toughest cut on the Model X. That's going to be at the top of the B-pillar where Larry's just placed the cutter. As Larry moves through this cut, listen and watch as the Tesla responds to the braking force of the cutter. What we heard there, folks, was multiple layers of dual phase 980 steel with a boron center being cut by the cutter. So we've made a complete cut in the top side of the B-pillar on Model X, and now he'll move down and start the 2 cuts that are required to complete our total sidewall removal. The boron in the B-pillar only runs to the latch. We're cutting dual phase only now. So why is the B-pillar so strong on Model S? Well, Tesla is committed to crash test standards that exceed most of what you'll see in the marketplace. In addition, the very heavy Falcon wing doors have to be supported through thousands and thousands of opening and closing without that flexibility. So that B-pillar has been designed to maintain that Falcon wing door and, of course, the high crash test standards. Folks, that's the final cut in the B-pillar that completes our total sidewall removal and dash displacement. We want to thank Tesla Motors for supporting these trainings, Hurst Jaws of Life, of course, for putting this event on. I'm Brock Archer with Advanced Extrication. I appreciate you all coming out today. Take care and be safe, guys.
How was it? Good seat, wasn't it? Told you. See if we can find where you. Grandpa went. No, just 1 second. I'm gonna let you stand with you until I see it. There he is. All right.
I kept watching you.
Yeah, the front row seat.
I can see you on the camera. Yeah.